Sunday on Denver 7, from snow in the high country to fires along the Front Range. Colorado's spring weather continues to keep people on edge, what you can expect heading into the work week. National Crime Victims' Rights Week starts tomorrow. How this year's theme of rights, access, and equity for all victims is impacting people here in the metro.
Honestly, the strongest-willed people I've ever met in my life. People just very resilient.
From Marine to magician to delivering supplies to those in need in Ukraine. One Coloradan is stepping up as crisis continues overseas.
Good morning and welcome to Denver 7 News. I'm Jessica Crawford.
And I'm Katie LaSalle. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Sunday morning on Denver 7. Let's take a look at stories making headlines today. Parts of I-70 are back open this morning after snow in the high country caused multiple slide-offs and some safety concerns yesterday. Crews completely shut down the highway between Copper Mountain and Vail Pass around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Westbound lanes, they opened around 8:30 last night, but a lot of people were stranded for hours.
We're learning more about a man from Boulder this morning who set himself on fire at the U.S. Supreme Court building.
So this incident, it shut down the area Friday night and made national headlines.
As a medical helicopter landed outside the Supreme Court building, police have not released a motive, but we've learned that 50-year-old Wynn Bruce died of his injuries. He was a photographer in Boulder who owned Bright and True Photos and had been recognized for his work. We talked to neighbors in Boulder who say he was quiet and never made any political statements. Well, this week, one neighbor drove Bruce to an RTD bus stop because he didn't drive. Bruce told him he was going to Denver to meditate.
All right, it is crunch time for the Nuggets. They are gearing up for Game 4 of the playoffs against the Warriors later today. You can watch it right here on Denver 7. Tip-off is at 1:30 at Ball Arena. And we're waking up to partly cloudy skies. We started off nice and sunny, but clouds will increase quickly here across the metro area as another front rolls through, bringing more showers to the plains, and we've already picked up some snow over higher terrain. This morning, taking you live out through Westminster, where we're under a partly cloudy sky, dry conditions, but up near Winter Park, as we continue to see the ski season wrap up, skiers and snowboarders are enjoying some fresh powder there at higher terrain. Up in Vail, it's just mostly cloudy skies right now with lingering snow showers picking up in intensity, especially over our central and southern mountains as we go through this afternoon. We start off only in the high 20s, low 30s. It's now 43 degrees out of the airport. Winds will be calmer today. Right now sustained from the north at 17 miles per hour. A little more cloud coverage, lingering snow showers into the mountains, and gustiest winds over the northeastern plains still near Sterling and Holyoke. Last recorded wind gusts around 40 miles per hour. Temperatures are now in the 40s for much of the Front Range and eastern plains, teens and 20s into many of our mountain towns. It will stay on the cooler side today with highs only in the 50s. We'll talk more about the snow accumulation expected in the high country and even a chance for a little bit of snow here in Denver still to come.
An update now to a story that's been top of mind all weekend long. We're tracking 2 fires that have been burning since Friday. The Silver Charm fire in Colorado Springs is still sitting at 17 acres with 75% containment. No homes were damaged. The Allen Creek fire in Park County continues to burn. So far, it's charred 13 acres. Because of the high winds, we're seeing fire restrictions across the metro. The latest, the city of Lakewood put a fire ban in place for City Park and open space areas last night. That means no fires of any kind in these locations, no model rockets, and essentially no smoking outside vehicles or buildings.
We have some encouraging news to report this morning. The Allen Creek fire is now 50% contained. The United States Forest Service says the Colorado Correctional Industries 20-person crew is now on the incident, upping the staffing to continue to contain the blaze. That's just north of Lake George. And the preparations for this summer's wildfire season continue today. The Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control is hosting helicopter-based fire trainings today with the Colorado Army National Guard. It is all part of an annual training in partnership with several national and state agencies. Crews training are going to be all over the metro area today and take off from Vance Brand Municipal Airport and Buckley Space Force Base. Those in charge of today's training say the main goal here is to make sure that crews have a realistic and comprehensive response whenever disaster strikes.
Here on Denver 7, we've reported for months now on the uptick in crime in the Denver area and the responses from our state and city leaders on how to make things safer. Well, now it's time to focus on the victims of those violent crimes. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live with us now. And Christian, tomorrow is the start of National Crime Victims Week.
Yeah, Jessica, and there's also an event happening tomorrow to remember victims and survivors. It'll take place in Golden, and everyone is welcome to attend this event. It'll take place at the 1st Judicial District Attorney's Office, and this event is put on by the organization, Colorado Organization for Victims Assistance. This group has been helping crime victims and their families not only get justice, but also heal for nearly 4 decades. The theme of this year's event is rights, access, and equity for all victims. National Crime Victims' Rights Week also focuses on recognizing those efforts of professionals and volunteers who help support these victims all over the country. According to the FBI, the number of hate crimes in 2020 went up to the highest it's been in nearly 2 decades. And the Department of Justice says that the Office for Victims of Crimes helped around 19,000 people who were impacted through grant programs in 2021. And if you want to attend the event, it's going to take place tomorrow at 5:30. I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says he is meeting in person with top U.S. officials today, all while the people of Ukraine are attempting to celebrate one of their most important holidays of the year, Orthodox Easter. Well, the state and defense departments are declining to comment on whether the meetings are happening, but if they do travel to Kyiv, they will be the highest-ranking U.S. officials to meet with Zelensky in the war zone. Zelensky made comments about the meeting during a press conference underground on a subway platform, where he also talked about threats against his life.
I don't have the right to be afraid because our people showed that they are not afraid of anything.
Meanwhile, Russian forces continue their attacks on Ukraine. There are claims Russia fired 6 cruise missiles just this weekend, killing at least 8 people and hurting another 18.
One Colorado man is traveling to the war zone himself. Aiden Sinclair is a former Marine and performs as a magician at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. He says after seeing the war in Ukraine on TV and social media, he knew he had to step in and help. He donated every penny his magic show brought in over 2 months and says he even maxed out his credit cards to buy medical supplies and body armor. He then personally flew to Poland and crossed the border into Ukraine to deliver them to the front line.
I think as Americans, we don't like bullies. It was just such a blatant act of aggression and such a blatant act of, violence, that you can't not be upset about it. You can't not, want to take action.
Sinclair is set to land back in Colorado this weekend, and he's already planning his next trip to Ukraine to deliver more supplies.
Coming up, Coloradans are now part of a national movement to protect wild horses. What changes they want to see from federal leaders in the future.
And it's closing weekend for lots of ski resorts where you can still ski next weekend.